Mark Loftus, senior editor of Post Magazine. We're at the Post booth here at NAB 2012, and I have Mike Bergeron from Panasonic joining us. I was at your press event the other day. Panasonic made several announcements. We're hoping you can share some of it with our readers. You've got cameras, all sorts of good stuff. What do we want to focus on?
Sure. Well, we announced a camera that will be coming in the fall.
Okay.
And that's the HPX 600. And I think the thing that's new about this camera is that we've kind of built it as a platform, and we'd like to make it a bit more future-proof to help people protect their investment. And the idea is that the camera, the basic camera, will work with our current formats, and we'll have some of the proxy and wireless features that we've already launched in the HPX 3100.
Okay.
And then in 2013, there will be a major upgrade for that, and that will include the AVC-Ultra compression, which we also talked about at the press event, along with some other things.
Okay, yeah. I know AVC-Intra, AVC-Ultra, newer. Is it brand new for the show? Is it something that had previously been introduced? Maybe you could tell our readers a little bit about that format.
We've mentioned it. We actually talked about it a bit at IBC last year. And we've been giving out little hints about it here and there because it adds quite a few things. And what on one end, it's going to increase the formats and go up into higher production formats, and that's things like 1080 60p, and 2K and 4K. And while AVC Intra is a very, very excellent production format at 100 megabits per second, we're going to also add a 200 megabit AVC 200, which is a AVC Intra Class 200, that will really be for mezzanine production and a nice thing to transition your old tape masters onto something file-based.
Okay.
And now then on the other end, we're going to add a AVC Long G, which is a long op format for really efficiency that nobody's seen before. And at lower data rates down to 25 megabits or 50 megabits, you're going to get like full production quality at 422, 10-bit, and complete rasters.
Ultimately, is it for television production, or are we starting to look more towards the feature film? I know you guys have stake in both sides of that with your production equipment. What do you see with the new stuff in AVC Ultra?
Well, one of the things that a lot of customers look at, if you're a stringer or an independent, you don't know who you're going to be working for from week to week.
Right.
And so with some of the AVC Ultra cameras that will be launching, starting with the HPX 600, you'll be able to set your codec based on the production path that you're going to have afterwards, or on your client or the content itself. And I mean, at the far end, of course, to do AVC Ultra 4K, well, that's another kind of camera. And that was something else that we started to talk about.
But again, the upgrade path so that customers have a plan where they could be working on broadcast or 2K or 4K ultimately in the future is something you would have to take into consideration with the new product.
Oh, sure. I mean, when people make a camera's still a major investment for an independent, and we really want them to be able to use. They don't want to have to buy too many of them. They'd like to be able to use that one for a lot of jobs and not have to go rent something.
How are you demonstrating this at the Panasonic booth here at NAB, as far as the new technology?
Well, actually, I think one of the more exciting demonstrations that we have is a demonstration of the codec quality of AVC Class 444, which is part of AVC Ultra, doing a compression of 4K content.
Okay.
And one of the things we discovered when we were working on this experiment, we started out by using standard test materials, which was scanned 35 millimeter. And the first thing we noticed is that it was a little soft. And we found that really to show the capability of the 4K compression, we had to go to some IMAX footage.
Okay. Big screen stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it was IMAX scanned to 7K and then decimated down to 4K. And then
decimated down to 4K.
Knocked back down to 4K.
Yeah.
And then we found that really was showcasing the quality of that codec.
You look at this show, I mean, we're only at day 2, but with some of the announcements that have been made, do you get a feel that this is the 4K show? That's what people will take back from NAB this year, that there's a lot of 4K technology, workflows, acquisition, and that it's becoming a reality, whereas in the past it's been something that was just talked about.
Yeah, I think 4K is certainly one of the big buzzwords of the show. I would say maybe 4K cloud and wireless,
cloud, sure,
possibly.
Obviously, yeah.
But 4K definitely a big thing, and I think with the discussion we're starting to have about AVC-Ultra and the 4K Varicam concept, is we really want to bring 4K to more applications, to more people. I mean, it's making a 4K camera is something that's becoming almost common.
Right.
But what we want to do is really get a 4K workflow that people can use who haven't really had access to that before. So I mean, we're getting interest from people like sports and independents who want to do special effects driven projects. We feel that's going to be really within reach in a couple of years, and we want to help with that.
I know in NAB's past, Panasonic has really made news with their 3D products, too. Is it a slower show for 3D this year, do you think, because it's being overshadowed by 4K, or do you guys have any news or plans with that with the year ahead? Well,
I mean, we're showing quite a few 3D products, but I mean, most of them we've shown before, although with the 3D P1, we're excited about that because now this is a product that's been shipping for a while,
right.
And we've got a large shipment of those on their way to London, where they're going to be covering the
upcoming
Olympics.
Exciting.
So I mean that's our big play on 3D, and we really are hoping that the London Olympics is a watershed for 3D, because it's just going to give a large group of people a chance to have a look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the other things we've been doing in 3D is we're finding that there's a lot of applications for 3D in industrial productions, where it's a closed loop, and you're not waiting for any particular large group to adopt 3D. You build your whole system in 3D.
Right.
And we have enabled a lot of our new projectors with 3D capabilities, which is had a lot of resonance in the training and industries and education and those sort of things, where they can just get an editing system, and there's quite a few that work in 3D now.
Yeah.
And one of our 3D cameras and a projector, and now they've got a 3D training program.
Cool. Well, Mike, we want to thank you for coming by the Post booth this year at NAB, and invite our viewers to check out the Panasonic news either on our Post website or on Panasonic's site itself. Thanks again.
Well, thank you for having me.
Stay tuned. We're going to be back in just a few minutes. Thanks.